Welcome to NWA Cane Corso Podcast, where we talk all things dogs.
I'm the true champion, and they make me the underdog. I'm gonna show them all they're wrong because I'm the champion. I'm the real champion. There'll never be one like me.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show, NWA Cane Corso. If this is your first time here, we talk all things dog with everybody across the world. They don't tell them what we're going to be talking about, but it's all about dogs. Sometimes chicken, too. My biggest shows have been about game fowl for some reason. I don't know. But today we got Brother Dale Martenson in the house. How are you, sir?
I'm doing awesome. I've enjoyed your podcast, and so I was pretty excited to get an invite. So
I didn't even know you.
I'm here in your yard.
I didn't even know you watched the podcast.
Absolutely.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
All things dog.
All things dogs, yeah.
All things dog.
I've been watching yours too for quite a while. I always thought yours was cool. I drive trucks in the day, and y'all always take on some topics like, I'm like, dang, I would have never thought about talking about something like that. And then you can go in depth with some things that
we get in the weeds, man. We get in the weeds.
For sure. Well, let's just start out by telling the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, we have been involved in the pet care industry. We had boarding and grooming businesses up until the last 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. We professionally handled show dogs, mm-hmm. and we also had maintained a breeding kennel, and we bred and showed our own dogs that we raised and sold some really great show dogs and some really great pets. And so in the last 15 years, we have kind of I don't want to say retired, but we've moved over to the lake, and we have do just our own dogs now, and okay. And I've taken up some dog show judging. So I've this year's been my international year. I'm leaving next weekend for Korea. A couple weeks ago I was in Mexico, and I think 2 weeks before that was in England, and lots of shows in the States. So judging dog shows is awesome. It's a lot of fun. Get a chance to meet the people and their dogs and all that. So it's no matter where you go, everybody, there's a common thread with all dog people. Uh-huh. And you're always kind of with family a little bit when you've got dog people around you.
Absolutely. Now you've been in the industry a good while. You've been judging for the last few years, right?
Correct. Yeah. No. In high school, I actually worked at a greyhound racing track, and worked for the trainers there, and as a lead out for the track, and then got into grooming and training a dog in obedience and scent work, and then kind of got pulled into the conformation world. And kind of lost my mind in there a little bit. And I met a girl at a dog show. She had a pretty cool dog, and talked her into let me show her dog into marrying me. And so we've been together for 41 years. And so she's kind of the yin and yang, probably maybe the brains of the operation.
Right.
But we've done all aspects of it, and it's all good, and it's all part of the industry, because it is an industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yes, it is.
And it's, for some people, it's a hobby, and that's awesome too. Mm-hmm. But it's all, there's a passion for purebred dogs.
Right. And see, you're a dog man through and through. You done been around a lot of the different little subcultures in dogs. And
Yeah.
you're 100% in dogs. You live straight off the knowledge of the being in this industry, right?
Oh yeah. No, I've had American Bullies before.
Yeah.
And I've been to their American Bully shows.
Right.
I like those a lot.
Right.
Very cool. You know, because the thing about American Bullies is guys are interested in them. Right. And so whenever the guys are interested, man, we're all in, you know, it gets real. But, you know, the thing is that there's a lot of knowledge in those breeds. It's a different venue than AKC, but lots of knowledge on DNA and very into the reproductive end. And I think that's probably something in the last 15 years or so, we as breeders have really learned to maximize what we can produce, the most puppies, the most offspring with the fewest dogs. So the fewest dogs in your yard, and you're going to get the biggest bang for the buck, which means you're going to do a better job with them, and you're going to have higher profit margins. Because at the end of the day, everything has to be paid for.
Yeah. You're right. Like the bully culture, you know, the small dog, companion dog world. It's a lot of little. Each little culture you can pull something from for your program. You know, I know
everybody has something to offer.
They do. You mentioned the bully shows and the fun shows versus the AKC shows. I was reading somewhere. Is it a decline in the participation of AKC shows, or is it registered? I'm not sure how that was working.
Okay, I can tell you about that.
Please.
So there is a real increase in the number of events. So in 2000, a short 26 years ago, Jane and I were specialing, which is what we call when we're campaigning a dog every weekend for ranking. We were specialing a dog, and I Believe I Can Fly was that dog's name. And we the song was just out 26 years ago. But anyway, we did in a calendar year 100 dog shows. Wow. And so, but that was only weekends. I mean, there might have been 1 or 2 3-day shows, but there were a few 1-day shows. Today's dog show world, you can do 100 shows by the 1st of July, easy, without breaking a sweat. Now we're doing 2 shows in 1 day. We're doing weekends where you might show your dog. They'll start the show on Wednesday or Thursday on through the weekend. And they have a sporting dog club, a toy dog club, an all breed club. And you're going to show that dog multiple times a day. And so you can really accomplish a lot of showing. I mean, you can just, you can, I took some puppies out to a 3-day weekend and ended up showing them like 5 times and got them almost finished, like in 1 weekend. It's like, well, okay, knock that litter out, you know? Yeah. So what that does, as a result, when you have more events, it's going to dilute your entry.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And people are going to finish their dogs, and you get some good dogs, and you hit some events. Well, you're knocking them out. Well, you can't. It's not a matter of just like clicking your heels and having some more. It takes some time. You got to get the breeding done. Got to get them raised up. Got to get them trained. Got to get all the stuff there. You might not have dogs to show every show for a whole year. There'd be no way you could have enough of them.
Right.
And so then what we start to do is go, I'm gonna pick and choose where I want to show.
That's right.
It's like I like that venue. They got good food. This parking's cheap. I'm gonna go, and then because I'll tell you, right after COVID, the shows right out immediately following COVID, which was, all right, just a little over 5 years ago, those shows booked out. I mean, they booked out that fast. Over 2,500 dogs, just like wham. Why? Because we hadn't been able to go to dog shows for like 1 year.
Yeah.
And we took dog shows that would normally get 600 or 700 dogs, and they were booking out at 2,800 dogs, and they were doing it in the first hour of entries being opened.
Wow.
I mean, it was like, so, but then as the shows got going and then it started to settle back down again.
Oh, gotcha.
So to me, that's my thing. I think there's lots of people, there's lots of show dogs. There's just a ton of shows.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That explains it. So you yourself have finished over 500 champions of your own.
Yeah. If I had the entry money back, I could go buy a private island somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I mean, what a dumb way to spend a lot of money. But yeah, we were obsessed, and we like to show our dogs, and part of, I think the cool thing about showing dogs is you might be the top paid professional in the industry with a multi-million-dollar client there, or you might be someone just mom and pop raising your dog in your backyard, and you're throwing it in the seat of the truck, and it's riding between you on the way to the show, and you got a chance of winning.
Yeah, that's right.
You take them out, and
right.
if you know your game, and if you bring an A game, you can win. And so I think that's a kind of an equalizer. If you put in the work, and if you bring in some top-notch dogs, and there's a little bit of like an artistic skill set to it. And if you know your breed, and heck, I know people that do gamecocks, and their birds are amazing.
Right.
I mean, you might go, well, those people, they're not driving an expensive vehicle. I'm like, watch out, because they've got some top rate. The breeder mentality, there's a skill set and a quality to people who know how to breed, who know how to condition, who know how to train, who know how to show, and they can, and those people are lethal in any competition.
That's right. You sit there, you talking about the game foul, and I've started the show. I was like, man, my biggest show has been game foul. And it's funny because you stay in Oklahoma now, right?
Yeah.
Bobby Fairchild has the most viewing on my show. He's he's old country boy, but he believes in confirmation, the total bird. I mean, he's over. He's off the chain. Let's talk about that a little bit. Being a judge, being around as long as you have in dogs, and kennel blindness. Is kennel blindness always just something people can't see, or do you think people can see it and just don't want to correct it because they have invested their money and time? What's your real thoughts on that?
Well, I think that sometimes you can't believe your own advertising.
Right.
You can't believe your own hype. Yeah. And I mean, there's been a time or two we shut the van door, and I'll say, damn, I didn't even realize these dogs were that good. And Jane will like, oh, they're not. You just got lucky. She's like, that judge was blind. What were they thinking?
Oh, my God.
I mean, that is the skill set of a good breeder.
Mm-hmm.
A good breeder is honest with themselves first. And they don't care who owns that dog. It might be their best friend. It might be their worst enemy. Don't care. If it's the best one, it's the best one. And a good breeder will go ahead and go, yeah, okay, I hate your guts. I don't like you at all. What do you want for me to buy a puppy from you? Because you got really good dogs. You're a horrible person, but you have I mean, that is work up now. So what happens is people go to the show and they'll get a degree of success. And sometimes what happens over time, you learn the craft of conditioning and presentation. And you know, you learn the art of the illusion of the show. And sometimes that illusion will carry you to a certain amount of a success. But that's not real.
You're right.
That's not real. Once you step out of the monkey house, you know, those dogs really aren't that good. That's a little bit of hype. That's some strategic entering. That might be bad competition. You might be a big fish in a little pond. But if you have a true dog breeders, they don't ever believe their own hype, and they'll go, yeah, we won, but there was nothing there, you know,
right.
That kind of thing. Or you don't, but you have to look at your dogs with honest eyes,
right?
And you have to breed them. The biggest thing is you got to breed your dogs. If you don't breed your dogs, you're not going to ever get ahead in this game. And because by the time you get into 6 generations of your pick of litter females that you've kept back each generation, your dogs are damn good. Those are good dogs.
Right.
And by that point in time, those stud dogs, you know, the fancy celebrates stud dogs. They all get excited about stud dogs. Breeders celebrate their bitches.
Right.
You know, and that bitch line, your core set of bitches that you work with, and then once you know what those dogs are, then you bring in a dog and you decide, is it stay or does it go? And you're just adding into your bitches is all you're doing.
That's right. Yeah.
And you pull in that, you lock in that quality, and you know, that's when good breeders have bitches. And it's a bitch line. And those people you can't beat because they just have one good one after another.
Right.
But the males get all the hype.
Oh yeah, the stud. Yeah, he's the hype man for the kennel.
Okay,
he's gonna be there doing his thing, showing off his physique.
Hammer shots. He'll be looking good, and all of these stats, you know. But if you got a good bitch,
oh yeah,
they're ahead of the game. But you got to bring them.
You got to bring them.
And I think that's one thing as competition drops out, and you got, instead of like one year, I showed up at the National. And we went reserve winner's dog, reserve winner's bitch, best of breed, best of opposite, best of veteran. And I handed my dogs to everybody. I was just like, you show one, because I knew I couldn't win every class because the judge wouldn't go for it.
Right.
But I brought the pick of a dozen litters. I brought the best ones. Other people, they're bringing whatever lived.
Right.
Litter.
Right. Hey, notice what he said. Notice what he said, y'all. For my new people, he said the pick, not the first pick. He means something when he says the pick of the litter.
There's only one pick.
Only one pick. Yeah.
There's only one pick. Yeah. After that, you're just sitting at the Golden Corral. You know, right. There's nothing. There's like, okay, sure. But when you have those pick of litters and you start pulling that back in, that's when you start. That's because you'll have good litters, and you'll have something really good, and then you have something kind of good, and then you have good enough, and then there'll be some that are like good enough if you know how to do it right. You know, if you can fit them out right, and if you can show them right, you can make it happen. But that kind of thing. You do the work, raise the litters, you know, sell the puppies, keep back the best ones. Yeah.
You have to, do that. And then, you know, like some people, I have as you know, I got all kind of people that watch this podcast. So sometimes people be listening to us breeders talk, and they, you know, you talking about picking the best puppy, and they think, all the other puppies are no good. No, that's not what we said. It's just, you wouldn't even be able to identify what we're looking at. You know what I mean? So, I think people get that confused. But before we go on, you was talking about shows, and you had a really good podcast this last episode. It was called Unspoken Rules in the Dog Show World. And man, y'all was talking about stuff I ain't never heard. I'm like, oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So and a whole bunch of good tips and things like that. As far as the Tack Box podcast, what made you put that together? And I don't know your co-host name. I'm sorry, brother, but I don't know if you can kind of tell us a little bit about the podcast.
Well, so my co-host Tyson Wald,
Tyson, okay.
he breeds same kind of dogs I do.
Okay.
He actually graduated from the same high school I did in the same town in Rapid City, South Dakota, 20 years after I did. Oh, wow. And we met at a dog show, and he's like, was interested in breeding. I'm like, and he's just a super, he's so techie, and he knows how to really make it happen.
Oh, boy, he is. Yeah. He's sharp. He's sharp.
He's sharp. He's got the game. And it's like, wow, if I was as smart as he was as early in the game, I'd have been a lot further. Yeah. But the thing is, a lot of our information, if we don't share it, it dies with us.
That's true.
And and that's where, because people feel very alone when you're breeding dogs and you have dogs. When you have animals, you're alone a little bit because you're tied down to there. You don't get to go. It's harder to go. It's harder to have people come in. It's situate, and people feel like they can't talk about their situation. It's like going, oh, I've had this happen. I had that happen. And there's so much judgment.
Yeah.
There is so much judgment. And that's where I just kind of want to say, hey, it's happened to all of us. We've all had these exact same things happen. There's no shame in anybody's game. You do the best you can for your animals. And this is a great industry, but we have a lot of between the animal rights. We have a lot of political correctness that's trying to cancel us out with the shop or adopt, don't shop.
Yeah.
All of that crap.
Yeah. We're getting into that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and which is a whole nother industry, just trying to drown out that industry. And then the breeders kind of feel kind of by themselves and kind of ostracized and kind of like they're kind of like, what are we doing? Are we really just kind of second-rate citizens, or we're kind of, shoved to the back, and, the vets don't want us, and, and we've got all this opposition, and maybe we're just bad or something like that, And I mean, and here we have this great sport industry that has been around. I mean, Westminster Kennel Club has been going 1 year shorter than the Kentucky Derby. Right. I mean, we've been showing dogs in this country. We make very few things in this country anymore, and our purebred dogs are some of the best in the world. And we should be nothing but proud of them. And that's just something that we need to set aside and support the breeders. And I think in this way, kind of like our podcast is just kind of give back and kind of support this stuff, and maybe have someone feel like I can do this. And there are people out there that are doing this too.
Right. You hit up some good points, because there was a lot of reasons when I was starting my podcast. People was scared to ask questions, and then I'm in a recreated breed, which is still relatively small but popular, really popular. Yeah, and so we got we got cliques, and we got divisions, and so it's just like people scared. They tiptoeing around. If they have an issue, they know they probably be ridiculed for it, and and this and that. So I think your podcast is it should have a lot more followers than what it has, and it will get there too.
We've been going for 1 year. We've been going for a year.
1 year. Yeah. Y'all, the Tack Box podcast, go over there. Y'all will be like, oh, Joe was right. But
who knows?
I ain't never stared you wrong. Yeah. You mentioned vets. Breeders, that's another thing. A lot of us, we have to go to what we call breeder friendly vets and things like that. Do you think the relationship that, if I was a vet, I'd be like, I want all the breeders because there'll be, more volume, more, things for my workers, for my business to thrive. But it seems like in some mainstream places, I basically I had to go to the country to go get a good vet. Why is that?
Well, okay, that's a really good question, and it's something kind of interesting because when we was judging in Mexico a couple of weeks ago, the actual kennel club owns the showgrounds, and right on the kennel club showgrounds is a veterinary hospital teaching school. They had 25 vets in residence plus students, and those vet students come over and work the dog show. And those vet students are walking out of there. They know about purebred dogs. They know the value of the mission statement of the purebred dog. And I mean, you think about every one of those vets that graduates from there that practices for the next 40 or 50 years. Those people they're breeder friendly, breeder knowledgeable, dog breeding knowledgeable. I think a lot of our veterinary stuff that we have now, and I mean, we couldn't do this without our vets, but I think that our education and a lot of the vet scholarships and sponsorships is going away from breeding and only to just the pet niche, where they only want to do cell shots and veterinary products like Frontline and things like that. And they don't want to take on bigger work like C-sections and reproductive things. And it's just really difficult to get into a breeder friendly area. That's part of the reason where I picked where I live, is because I have 3 reproductive clinics near me, because it's just like not an option. So one thing that you have to do as a breeder is the time to establish a relationship with a vet is not when you need them. The time when you need to find your vet is like, you're going to make this relationship. You're going to involve them in what you're doing, and so that they care that you support their business and they're going to support your endeavors. And it's like, and every person that's raising a dog, I don't care if it is a Labradoodle or if it's a bulldog or whatever, all just dogs to the vet. One time, 30 some years ago, Jane and I had we had a dog with us that went into labor early, and we were coming back from a dog show in the motorhome, and the dog needed a cesarean section. So here we are, states away from home. And I picked up the local newspaper at the gas station. I saw an ad for bulldog puppies. I called a super nice lady named Joanne in Beaumont, Texas, and said, "Hey, Joanne, congratulations on your puppies. I need a vet recommendation." And she was so nice. She called her vet for me, said, "These nice people are traveling and such." And she even said, "I'll come down and pick you up and take you over to such and such." She couldn't have been nicer.
Oh, wow.
That's just part of the dog breeder thing. We're all in it together, but need to make those relationships. So this is part of like new breeders. You need to go over there and say, "Joe, where do we go here? Who's best for this? Who's best for that? What can we, figure it out?" Because the time to do that is before.
Yes, right.
And right now with progesterone, surgical inseminations, all of this stuff, the better ways of breeding, we can pinpoint. Like, we run all of our own progesterone in-house. We have a Midas, and we breed on progesterone. We whelp on progesterone. I mean, because that way you can really target it out, and we know what we need when we're going to need it. None of the surprise stuff, because that's really a thing of the past. Yeah,
100%. I know I didn't mention this, but your primary dog right now is the Cavalier King?
Yeah, we have Cavalier King Charles Spaniels and Japanese Chin.
Japanese Chins, okay. All right, so yeah, if y'all looking for one of those, there y'all know where they're at. So it was something Okay, this is what I was going to ask you. You were saying that the vets kind of, in some areas they go more for, the pet home, the big consumer pet home market. With health testing, we used Embark, Wisdom Panel, different things like that as tools for health testing and things like that. But I even noticed that they have curved to the pet home. Do you think that helps or hurt breeders? Could you hear me?
Do I think?
Okay. I said, do you think that for as like the health testing
With the wisdom panel and all the stuff,
it's
the
like wisdom panel Embark geared more towards you.
Or you're gonna because a lot of the vet clinics are getting bought up by corporations.
Yeah.
So a lot of corporate companies, and they're selling to these people, and they're selling pet health insurance. And what they're doing is they're going ahead and saying, you got one dog, and this is how we're going to get the very most money we can from you. And we're going to get you into the system. Mm-hmm. And they try to make it into like human healthcare, which that's a whole nother podcast. Yeah. We don't want to go into that. Right. But the whole corporate vet industry
private
is a very different thing. So you're going to have to find probably someone a little bit off the beaten path, maybe a large animal vet, find the breeder person that everybody's using, and kind of work into that and see where you can go. Find who you work well with and start working on that and keep them close, work with them closely.
Right.
And be a good client. Be a good client. That's the other thing is be the person that they want to have. So, because breeding dogs is wonderful. It can be a lot of fun. It's super rewarding, and it can be a total shit show.
Yes.
You can have death, destruction, and despair.
Right.
And that's part of it too.
Yeah, you're going to experience
you don't bring that negativity with you. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, this went bad. That's too bad. I'm sorry about that. Moving on. And the better the breeder is, the quicker they come to acceptance and realizing what the situation is and moving on to a positive resolution. Right. So you can't be that you can't just like dump all your problems onto your vet and have them figure out all your breeding program and all your breed problems. This is something you have to figure out at home. And when you come to the vet, you need to have kind of an idea as to what you want.
Right.
What your dogs need and what you need to be doing to keep your end up.
Right. And the vet gonna take you to the school, because when you're running into problems starting out, you're gonna see those problems, how to fix them. I will record that stuff and remember it. And just husbandry itself, you have to know it so you can stay out of the vet sometime. You know what I mean? So
that's the big thing. The
big
thing is learning how to keep your animals healthy, how to take care of your dogs right. It's like one of the early things that I learned on is how to clean teeth, because I clean my dog's teeth and I do it myself, and because I want to do it often, and I'm cheap, and so I don't want to, so all right, you have to figure out what you need, how you're going to do it, and then the more hands-on you are, the people who come to the show or, that are scrubbing the green out from underneath their fingernails, those are the people that are playing to win, because they know it's not just getting dressed up and walking in a circle. We're taking care of animals. We know what it's about. We know the score, and we know our business,
Right.
And so, and there are lots of people who are interested on a whole nother level, that they want the exhibition, the participation. Excellent. We need those people too. But the breeders carry the weight. And the buck stops with us. And like sometimes people will say, what would you do in this or this? And if I'm picking for somebody else, I might be more conservative in my and what I'll be willing to suggest. Keep them on a safer track. Because I'm not a crier. So, I mean, I'll go ahead and roll the dice on something, probably be a little bit more aggressive on something than somebody else, but I'm prepared for how it goes, good or bad.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm that type of decision maker too. If I make that decision, I roll the dice on that decision, however it goes, I'm okay with it because I made the decision. If somebody else did it, I'll be pissed if it didn't work.
And that's why when you turn around and tell someone, you tell them, it's like, oh, well, don't do that. You're going to get whole litter miss marks. Don't breed those colors together. Don't do this. Don't do that. Because they might not be, if this is their only litter they're going to have for the next 2 years, then you need to be really safe with that.
Exactly.
I mean, I think that's like when you're actually when you're establishing and making a bloodline and setting type, and you figure out the COI that you want to work with on your dogs, and you start going, I'm going to do this percentage of outcrossing, this percentage of line breeding, this percentage of inbreeding, and so I can put this together to see what I have, because the thing is, we were talking a little bit about health testing, and health testing. And if anybody has a problem with this or a complaint, talk to Joe, because it was his idea to have me come. The health testing is for making better decisions.
That's right.
Make smart, to know what you have that you're working with, because identified health problems aren't a bad thing. That's something that you need to work on. It's the stuff you don't have any idea that will kick you in the teeth. I mean, the things you know about, you can work on that. It's like, I need to improve this and this. Okay, we can do this. But health testing is to help you make smarter decisions. So maybe this dog doesn't have a great rear, but it's a wonderful dog. Okay, it's fine. We know he doesn't have a good rear. We're going to breed him to stuff that is going to be strong in that department. You're going to make those choices. It's not about trying to breed perfect dogs, because
and eliminating everything. No,
we're just making smarter choices. So if the dog carries something that we don't want, well, then this dog's a carrier. Fine, we're going to breed him to negative bitches. We can make that stuff work. And I think a lot of times people hide behind health testing, and they'll go, well, look, I did everything I could do a health test. It's like, you know what? When you look at the litter puppies and you say, these puppies all their fontanelles closed, their bites were all perfect, they did or didn't have hernias, these are the temperaments were this, that they weaned off at this point, they took their shot. If a litter is a good, strong litter or not.
You do.
And you can like push puppies through that are not right. And you say, well, but the parents have health testing. Well, it's like, that doesn't mean shit. It's like going over there and saying, well, hey, do you want to date me? I'm not very good looking, but my parents are. It doesn't matter. What you see in front of you is what you got.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? I've interviewed a lot of different people, and people who make breeds, and did a lot of mixing, and a lot of them, majority of them, if not all of them, that I know that created breeds or types of dogs, didn't trust the accuracy of the DNA part of those tests. They just didn't. They like, I know what I put in that dog, and it's not right. And then I'm reading articles now that you can send DNA to this company, send it to another company, and it'd be totally different.
Okay, so all right, a little bit like some of this is the whole idea: health testing, DNA. If you want to cheat on that, it's like cheating on your diet. Who are you hurting? This is stuff that you use to get more information so you can be smarter and you can make better decisions. Like with the American Kennel Club, we have the FUS, frequently used sires program. Dog sires 3 litters in a year, 7 litters in its lifetime. You have to have DNA on file. All right. So because we can have a chain of DNA and saying of these dogs that are influential in the breed. Every time you import a dog, we're the only country that does any DNA. So the only one. So every time you import a dog, you go, oh, that's a lovely pedigree. I'll hang it on the wall. It might not be worth the paper it's printed on. You don't know. You know, they may not know. They may be shady as heck. You don't know. You just got this piece of paper worth, you know, pretty enough to hang. But, you know, what you know is what you do yourself. That's why you have to do the litters. You have to do the breedings, because when you see the puppies, you're going to know.
You're going to know. Yeah.
You're going to know, you know,
yeah.
And that's where, you know, when you look at your own dogs and you say, well, I know what I have.
Right.
Bad, whatever. Every time you go outside of that circle, you're taking a little chance. You have to go out, but you want to try to go out with people that you feel that you can respect, and that they're kind of got the similar ideas that you do.
Exactly.
And that you're can kind of work with, but you bring in carefully, you know, and you know, before you bring something else onto your yard, you better know what you're bringing in, because it might be a Trojan horse. It might look so beautiful and just be a whole pack of trouble, you know. And
yeah.
I mean, 100 years ago, I bought a dog one time. Beautiful dog. Oh my God, was a pretty dog. He won a best in show as a non-champion class dog from the classes. Never done that before or since.
Mm-hmm.
Fine animal. Wow. You know, he was, I bred him like 6 bitches. He produced over 90% bad bites.
Really? Yeah.
And then I find out later, he was from a litter of 7, and he was the only one that had a good bite.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because that explains it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I had a lady gave me a good tip in this breed, the Corso, right? I was a little skeptical of a female that I had shipped over, and she just gave me her best advice. But the one thing she told me, because she was in the pedigree with this dog too, she said, well, just make sure you leave yourself an out. You know what I mean? Just don't abandon everything else and leave yourself an out. And that I always will remember that when I'm breeding, if I'm a little bit skeptical about something I'm bringing in. But I want to ask you this, because you don't put down some dogs, you've seen some things. What are the telltale signs when to bring in an outcross?
Absolutely. That's a good question. Mm-hmm. So part of the reason that people breed hybrid dogs, like everything with the doodle frenzy, the doodle craze and all that, is because when you breed 2 breeds together, you get these puppies. None of the problems that none of the problems that the poodle has are the same problems that the golden retriever has. Right. So they're going to mask it.
Yeah.
And so you're going to get this hybrid, which is going to probably be stronger than either parent. It's kind of like a mule, you know, where you've got the donkey and the horse. You have all of this outcross strength and productivity and health. Yeah. And I mean, it's like, it's a 1-generation trick.
Right.
There's not any consistency beyond that generation, right? Because you're going to go back into one side or the other. But it's the power of hybrid vigor. That's why those dogs were such a phenomena, you know, because they took 2 established breeds or other breeds, crossing them, getting the hypoallergenic coat of the poodle in these other breeds, and making very desirable pets, which, I mean, there's been gazillions of them sold, but it's not a sustainable breed. It's not a breed. It's a hybrid. And so when you start talking about when you are working within a breed and you start holding back on there and you start tightening down your COI, your breeding coefficient, you're going to get more consistent puppies. And so if Joe likes a dog with a pretty head and something with a big space between the eyes and all that. You're going to start keeping back more dogs of that similar type. You're going to line breed tighter on those. But as you start to ratchet it in to get the consistency, you're going to lose production. Mm-hmm. You're going to double on all of the good things and all of the bad things. Yeah. And one of the first things that starts to go is productivity. Mm-hmm. And so when you have breeds that are no longer naturally breeding, no longer naturally whelping, they're needing all this assist in nursing and weaning, and they need all this assist on. I mean, we got oxygenators, and we're doing all of this extra stuff to keep to. What we're doing is we're putting our fingers on the scale of fate to tip it into our favor. Well, you can only push Mother Nature around for so far, and then she's going to go, "Oh hell no! These are not strong enough." And that's when you start seeing dogs are going to start. Your bitches are going to start to pile mitra. Mm-hmm. You're going to start getting bitches that are bad mothers. You're going to get low birth weight. You're going to get questionable production, like their cycles, they won't come in as normally or as early or for as long. Their puppies might be pretty, but they're harder to get from them, and you're going to work harder on them. Right. The stud dogs are going to start to lose some of their reproductive prowess. You're going to be having to do AIs 100% of the time. They might, instead of having a 98 collection count, they might have an 82, which will still get them pregnant. Right. But you go ahead and start line breeding onto those stud dog that you can only get them pregnant if you're doing a surgical insemination, because the count is down in the 70s or 80s, which is functionally sterile. Right. And you start doing these things, and you pull these dogs back into production against Mother Nature's will. And then eventually you end up with nothing. You ever end up with these dogs that may or may not be very pretty. The chicken breeders inbreed until the production starts to sincerely drop off to nothing. Right. And just only at that point will they bring in new blood. Right. And in a little bit of a way, that's kind of the same idea. When you start to lose your production, when you start to lose the strength of your breed, the health, the vitality, I think they get a little, they're not as smart, easy to train too.
Yeah, true. And then, something I noticed too is breeding them while they're young. The litters seem to be different. If you have an old bitch versus a young bitch and a young stud, it seems to be a lot different to me. How about you?
Oh, absolutely. So, it's kind of like having your kids. You can have all the kids you want in your 20s. You can have a lot of kids. You can have some more kids on into your 30s. Yeah. If you've been having kids in your 20s and your 30s, you can still be having kids on into your 40s. Yeah. All right. If you had, because you've got that continued production, younger animals should be reproductively stronger. They might not be the smartest, kind of like young parents. Yeah, right. but they're going to produce strong. They're going to have the strongest puppies, the strongest. Well, I was like, and kind of like when a bitch is 5 years old, it's kind of like having babies in your 50s. Probably shouldn't be doing that, Right. And that's where you start. Reproduction is for the young. Right. And part like in breeders. Yeah, I get a good bitch. I want to breed her. I want to breed her as much as I can up until 5 years of age. And then she's done. Done. You can't make a cake out of old eggs, Right. You just aren't, your puppies just aren't as nice out of them after they get to that older age. Right. And one thing, if you're going to breed if you're going to use an old dog, at least breed them to a younger bitch, try not to have both of the parents on the very last, leg of their production. Facts. Yeah.
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 Let me ask you this. I'm gonna switch gears just for a little bit. I was reading in my research of you. You were living in Texas, and this segment gonna kind of roll into purebred dogs. Sometimes I wonder if it's a war on purebred dogs. Seems like, but you had a incident. They call it the mole incident. Take us behind the scenes. You had to stand up, get some legislation in 2011 and 2012 with some puppy mill bills. What was all that about?
Well, so we as breeders, it's really important that wherever you have your dogs, you're legal to have them. You need to be in compliance. That is a safe, smart thing to do. If your dogs, breeders need to be as in compliance to their state, their their area, to have your dogs legally. And so, and if that means, keeping your rabies shots up, if you can get a kennel license, get a lot of people in our dog breeding community live under the wire.
Mm-hmm.
They don't tell, it's a part of the reason of the isolationism is that they think they don't have kennel licenses. They have their dogs in unzoned places. Well, the anti-dog legislation is extremely popular, and we had some, and it's very corrupt, super corrupt, because it's a $1 billion industry too. They raise money because they can't agree on anything else, but everyone can agree that you should take good care of dogs. Right. Now, and it's too hard to find people in the public that aren't taking good care of their dogs. We see it every day. We see them in the road. We see them in the dishes. It's easier to find the breeders because they have an address. Let's pick on these people, these random people here that are, they don't have any money. They're not spending any money on their dogs. So we had a PETA-based group that brought legislation in Texas opposing breeders that wanted to pass extraneous, expensive, terrible legislation that would make it almost impossible to have a license, wow. Yeah. And it would cost you thousands of dollars a year to do that. You could never come up with a way to maintain it. But the great thing was it was super dirty because the lady that was bringing the bill was she's actually an 80-year-old Congress or legislator named Synfronia Thompson from Houston, and she didn't care two hoots about a dog. I don't think she would tap her brakes for a dog, honestly. But the girl that worked in her office, her aide, her best girlfriend was the PETA lobbyist. So they got old Synfronia to sign on this stuff, and they had it was locked and loaded and dirty all the way through. And one of the vets that they had in there, she was an animal rights activist, and she was supposed to be and all it takes is about, like what you did, about 10 minutes on Google and checking social media, and you can put all the lines together as to who knew who.
Right.
And so I may have come out and said it. I may have just come out and said, hey, that sucks, and that's not right, and you all are crooked, and you don't care anything about dogs. You just care about making money, and and it'll live on forever on the the internet. But and the legislation did eventually pass, unfortunately, but then it didn't get funded, so it's not enforced. They if you look right now on the Texas the legislation on their thing, I think I don't know if they have 200 people that have licenses. Texas is a huge state, and there are thousands of breeders, and less than 200 of them have a license because everybody just under the wire because they don't have any enforcement money. Right. Yeah. It's kind of a sad story on a great state that used to be really pro breeder, but not much anymore.
Right. And this area we're in, I'm in Arkansas, Texas.
That's very pro breeder.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. Oh yeah, we good over here. Yeah. Oklahoma seems pretty good. Yeah, it's a Missouri for the most part is okay. I think they have a lot of stuff going on, some attempts and things like that. But that's one of the questions people ask me, and I'll ask you, where are the best places to live if you want to be a breeder, state-wise?
Well, so that's a very good if you're breeding dogs, depending on the type of dog you have to be near a metropolitan area and an airport of some sort.
Yes, sir.
Unless you're going to try to only sell local to your area. So you're going to have to be in that. You have to kind of figure that out. I would not shy away from a state that had rules, because tell me what the rules are and I can do it.
Yeah, you figure it out. Yeah.
So check out your rules, check out your zoning, check out your ordinances, and try to go ahead and keep the as close to the legal number as you can. A lot of times because like we were talking about today, breeders don't need to have as many dogs as they used to. And there's also such thing as doing guardian homes. So especially like if with your breed, you have a larger breed, you can go ahead and have a nice bitch that you might want to breed, and you put her with a nice family and say, I want to breed her a couple of times. And this is one, and you keep her and bring her back and that kind of thing.
Right.
The people, and you can work. You can do some stuff where you don't have to keep every single dog that you're wanting in your program.
Right.
There's all sorts of things like that. You have to decide, and that's when I think breeders have to work together in a little bit of community. So nobody keeps all the dogs themselves,
Right.
And, so that we have we have diversity and we can keep dogs. But check out your zoning, check out your stuff, be smart about your advertising, be smart about how you do this. Remember, there are people that are looking. So don't put your addresses on your website. Use a PO box.
Yes.
Don't have, kind of figure out how you want to do it, stuff. Limit your access on there and stuff. Don't put every dog you own on your website.
No, don't do it. Yeah.
Kind of be smart about it, because I'm from the generation. We didn't have cell phones when I was a kid. We didn't have the internet. So all this, I had to learn all this at a later point in life. But the young people today, they're very savvy. You keep your web presence for your breed there. That's a good thing. But keep your access
right. Watch it. Yeah, watch it, guys. He telling the truth. I don't put my address up. I'm sure they can find it, but being in this dog media too, those who've been following me a lot, I've interviewed many people. Sometimes they bring their enemies to me. So I have to be careful. I had to be very careful. I've been in all kind of stuff doing this. so yeah.
I'll tell you one group that is really good. And they're based out of Oklahoma, called the Cavalry Group.
Oh, she's been on Mindy Patterson.
Patterson.
Love
her.
Yeah.
Mindy.
Yeah, we got to do it again, Mindy. We need to do it again.
She is our gladiator. She fights for, and if you have a kennel and your kennel license, you should have a membership in the Cavalry Group, because number one, we need to support people that support us.
That's right. Yeah.
And number two,
it's like $250.
Friend. If you have a problem, you want Mindy Patterson on your side.
You sure do. Yep. We got to get her back on here to talk about some of that legislation they working, that Greyhound stuff. And I know they changed some of the language, but we still need to talk about it. Dale, I know I said an hour. Give me about 15 more minutes. I swear I will let you go. Okay. So do you mind if I show some of those pictures you sent me?
Oh, sure.
Okay. I'm going to ask you these maybe two more questions. If anybody got a question, now is the time. Let me put up this comment. The individual channel. Hello, I love Dale. I have a dandy Denmont Terrier, and I am involved with preservation. We got 2 group 4s at our last 2 local shows, and we never miss your Tack Box podcast.
Awesome. Great breed. And everybody that has a breed like that is a preservation breeder.
Right.
And good on them for doing the work to keep that amazing breed strong and healthy.
Right. Let me ask you this. Everything stripped away, what is the single most advice you could give breeders to follow to survive their first 10 years?
I'm going to tell you, it's the about.
Mm-hmm.
And if as long as it's about your dogs,
mm-hmm.
and it's about you doing with your dogs, you will be successful. You know, I mean, because it's, you know, if it's about you, it's about your dogs and about what you're going to do with them, you can't lose, because you don't need any other outside acclamation or affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
You just do the very best with your dogs, have fun, enjoy the great people that you're going to meet that share your passion.
Mm-hmm.
It's a church of sorts, you know, and you're not going to love everybody in there. Well, work on it, do your best. But you're going to meet you're going to meet your best friends there. And, you know, I mean, there's this, it's a great thing. I can't imagine my world without my dogs and my dog people. It's been a livelihood and a life for me.
Right. Let me ask you this. When people read your kennel name and pedigrees 50 years from now, what would you want them to really know about your dogs and the special dogs that carried the program for you?
You know, I'd like people to go ahead and to think they shared some really good dogs with people, and they let people have some really, really nice dogs. And, you know, and we made our breeds, we made our breeds better, and we made them accessible to people, and we were good stewards of our breeds, you know, that we, you know, made them stronger, made them better, and that we brought people in. And I think that's part of the thing, like these podcasts and all that, we can help bring people in, help them do better with their dogs, and kind of give back. It's a little bit of a giving back thing.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming and everything. As far as your outlook on the future of dog breeding, dog showing, how does it look to you? Does everything seem to be up and up? Is the mentorship exchanging to the next mind?
Well,
you know?
I say I'm an optimist.
Mm-hmm.
I think every litter I've got coming up is going to be the best litter I've ever had. Mm-hmm. And I think that we are going into the golden age of dog breeding now, because we have all this technology and we have all of this online resource, and, you know, we can cast this huge net with the internet and social media
mm-hmm.
that never could do before. And so I think that there's unlimited possibilities. I envy the young breeders coming in and to have more time to play. But you know, I think it's an amazing time. You know, there's negativity. It just depends as to where you want to live. I don't live in negativity. I don't think about, oh, this was good, now it's not. I accept change, move forward, and take the good change along. You know, some of the change you might not like as much, but
mm-hmm.
there's a lot of good change. And I think that we're doing better with our dogs now, and we have more information out there.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some killer good registries with AKC and all that are more breeder centric. I think we have a very consolidated pushback against some of the animal rights stuff and the PETA, HSUS stuff, where they're just trying to stomp us out. I think they've kind of hit a wall, and people are kind of going, no, I like my purebred dogs. I like it. It's
right.
Americana, you know, it's
right.
a real deal. And, you know, it's like, There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that we should not apologize for what we do. We should say it loud and proud. And we should just do a good job with it.
Right, right. You know what? Also, you were saying like moving things positive. I think these podcasts help too, because like I said, I interview all kind of people. And one thing that's always said, dog shows are killing breeds and different things like that. But as I cover these breeds, I'm seeing, and other people are seeing different things you can attract from each side, right? Like working dog people, if I say the uneducated ones, don't understand how powerful structure is. You have to know structure for your dogs to work like that and things like that. So what are your thoughts on that? Should it be different working side or a show side, or is the dog working in the show versus working in the field?
Right. So, when you have the standard
Mm-hmm.
for the dog,
Mm-hmm.
and so the standard for the dog is the blueprint of the house.
That's right.
And when I come to judge your dogs, I'm a guest in your house.
Mm-hmm.
And your standard is the rules you put forward on your breed, on where the importance lies. And so if your importance is in form and function, and like I just got done doing the national specialty for min pins, and those dogs have this like amazing hackney gait and this very cool shape with top line and drive. And I mean, they're like little athletes, the way they stand on their toe. I mean, and it's like, you have to see them, you judge them for who they are, for what they are, for what's important for them. And for what it might be important for one breed, might not be as important for another. And so that's where the breed standards are the house rules, and the judge should judge to the standard for the breed. And people are always going to complain. The complainers, always seem to find their way to the microphone to have their biggest gripe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think dogs at dog shows are people that are interested in their breed. They're interested in their structure. They're interested in what makes their breed good. And I think that you need to educate your eye, and you need to go to every one of your specialties, and you just need to see what's this other house bringing? What do they have? What do their dogs look like now? I mean, I've seen their pictures and their Photoshop is amazing. I want to see the dogs.
Right.
I want to see what they look like, and see if it's, when the smoke clears away, what do we got here?
Right.
And that's where going to the shows. If you're not going, you're flying blind. You got to go and see. If you can't go and see, then you watch the live feed and you watch the live streaming, because you can't Photoshop it that.
That's right.
How they walk is how they're made. And,
right.
I mean, you go in there and you see 5, 6, 7 dogs out of a stud dog, then you like them all.
Mm-hmm.
No, it might be something worth thinking about.
Right.
I mean, you go in there. I mean, those are the things you go to those shows, you're going there for your information, your continuing education. And that's information you're taking back home. And it's like where you're going to come away like, I can do better now. I know more.
Right.
I have sat there ringside at specialties and ordered pedigrees online on my laptop going, I want to buy. I bought a dog in Germany while I was sitting ringside going, oh, I want that. That's good pedigree. I like these puppies. And before I left, I had a dog from that breeding. It's like going, yeah, this is worth doing.
Right.
My dog was 8 years old from Germany, and he was the #1 stud the next year,
right.
because that pedigree was just working, man. They had good stuff going. And I think that's knowing you want to do your own thing. And I encourage individuality, but why don't you stand on the shoulders of the people that are successful?
Exactly.
If you got someone that's doing good stuff and they got a good formula, you're not a fool not to take advantage of that.
Right. And then, I like to go to the shows and look, because I'm in a recreated breed where you take, several different breeds to make it happen.
Mhm.
I believe you should even study around those other breeds that, that made them. But, hey, Dale, you want to know something? You know who I think who are the most powerful people in dogs? I think it's the handlers, and I think it's the dog trainers. They know the dog, they know these different lines of dogs, they know the temperament of these dogs. A lot of them know how they're bred. The trainers, it's a saying, a young broom can sweep the floor, but an old broom know where all the dirt is. And I think the handlers and the trainers just know so much about these dogs that, you got to participate in shows. You got to handle the dogs. And there are some of the
I think when you walk in there and you show your dog,
mm-hmm.
you know what you want to work on.
Mm-hmm.
You can turn in there and you can see what else is going in there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of come away and go, I need to work on this.
Right.
I mean, because I think it's like, I think sending dogs to be shown is not a bad thing.
Right.
But a little bit doing it yourself, that's one-on-one, man. You can't, that's hard to pass by because you know what you got and you know what the win looked like.
Right.
You know what the win looked like.
That's right. Well, Dale, I appreciate you coming and everything. And audience, I just want you to let you know I hadn't scratched the surface with him. So do your research on him. You're gonna be very surprised, like I was. I was looking at it like, God, there's so many subjects I could have tackled with him. That's why I was just kind of just tithering all over the place tonight, because he know too much. He's done too much. He's everywhere. You can see him in magazines. You can see him everywhere. So he just did it. He sent me pictures, man. I mean, like, I really could have put a documentary out with all those pictures and everything like that, man. But I want to say I appreciate you coming. And any last words you want to say to the audience?
Well, hey, you know what? Stick with Joe. You got a good source of information here, and your breed is lucky to have you. And keep up the good work, man.
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. Likewise, y'all make sure to follow the Tack Box Podcast. All right. Yeah, we out. See you, brother. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Step into the realm of canine wisdom with our podcast, NWA Cane Corsos, where we interview dog men and women from around the globe. Discover their talents and insights on breeding, training, nutrition, and the rich history of dogs. Tune in to the most underrated yet influential dog podcast on social media. Your journey into the dog world starts here.